Welcome back to the Who's Number One podcast. Lots of news in the Who's Number One universe. Real quick, first, Reed on some super secret missions as well as Hollywood Mike. So just the two of us up here today.
Holding it down.
And talking about the biggest news in Who's Number One. Gordon Ryan, believe it or not, finally getting the match against Felipe Pena. He's been looking for that match for years and years, right? Since ADCC 2017, maybe even further than that, but we're finally going to get to see it again in a no time limit match on Who's Number One on August 7th. What do we think about that matchup?
Like what? Well, what was it? Like half a year ago, we were, we weren't sure if he was even going to take the Galvao match at ADCC, and now we're not only getting the Galvao match, but just a month before, we're getting another one of the only people in jiu-jitsu that can actually excite the fans for like a real rivalry matchup. Dude, I don't think anyone in the jiu-jitsu world was really expecting it. Even on Reddit, they were having threads about who do you think Gordon's next matchup was, and they just immediately like blew off Pena.
Nobody knew.
No one knew. But we also can't forget he's also going up against Pedro Mourinho at the Who's Next finale, so that's also super exciting. We get 3 Gordon main events in like what, 2 months, 3 months, 4?
So plenty more details to work out on the rest of those cards. That'll be coming throughout the next couple of months. But before that, we just released episode 3 this morning of Who's Next. So excited to get to talk about that, talking about what's leading up to the Who's Next finale in July. Episode 3, man.
Dude.
Oh, where to start? The bull riding, the Tackett slap fest against Mike Rakishan, and of course the incredible match that was Big Dan versus Andrew Tackett.
Shout out the competitors, because we really tried to kill y'all. And y'all made it through. This was like a natural selection process that if y'all didn't make it, y'all just didn't deserve to win. But everyone came out mostly uninjured and ready to fight, so that was fun.
Let's throw this out right now, by the way. We are talking pretty extensively about episode 3, so if you have not seen episode 3 yet, close out of this window. See you later. Come back and talk to us later. Go watch episode 3. It's on FloGrappling right now. This is your spoiler alert. We're gonna bring Big Dan in here to talk to us about episode 3. But before we do that, let's play this clip.
When I started doing jiu-jitsu, I would have never thought it would have involved cattle rustling. We have giant animals out there that could kill us at any second, and I'm sending my guys out there to grab a ribbon off their tail. May God have mercy on their souls.
Yo guys, got this.
So the feeling of that, like the cows coming out, yeah, I haven't felt like that in a long time. I'd much rather fight for another 3 hours.
In the corner! Yes, there we go! Get him! Get him! Yes! Get him, Big Dan!
I go up, it looks at me, and I'm like, all right, I'm brave. I go up, it looks at me, and I'm just like, I'm just like, shit, I don't want any part of that.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's bring him on, representing the red team, and of course representing New Wave Jiu-Jitsu. Big Dan, man, how you doing?
How are you guys? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Lot to talk about from your whole Who's Next experience. But let's talk about the bull in the room first. What was it like to go out there in that arena and even to pull up into the bull ring? What was your first kind of take when you saw those monsters there in front of you?
So man, like every single so the filming was like for about a week or so. So everything was chopped up, and the matches, we all did it on one day. And every time we had a challenge, we kept trying to figure out what the challenge was. Some guys snuck their phones in, they looked at the GPS, we tried to find it, blah, blah, blah. And we couldn't figure out what this challenge was. We were in the middle of nowhere in northern Texas. And we're just like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna do paintball? Are we gonna do manhunt? Like, are we gonna go ATVing? I don't know. And man, when we pulled up and we saw those bulls, good Lord have mercy. I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going home. I'm not wrestling the bull. There's no chance. Nobody wanted to wrestle the damn bull. That thing was huge, man. And they didn't just bring out the smaller bulls, which were still 800 pounds. They took out the 3,000-pound bull, and they're like, you guys are going bull riding. Like, no, we're not. No way, we're gonna die. Like these guys were trying to kill us. Like we figured out a couple of the challenges. Like we figured out the arm wrestling one because at the Flow Studio they had an arm wrestling table, but like the other ones we had no clue. These fuckers didn't even tell the coach. It's like, hey Tim, like can you tell us? Like, man, I don't know. So,
we had to keep them in the dark. We saw how the coaches were moving all season. You guys, they can't be trusted any more than you guys can. Craig's trying to, always sabotage. He's looking at the cameras. You can't trust him. Had to keep everyone in the dark.
So of course you were integral in like in the strategy here, right? And how to kind of corner the bull, how to like figure out how to get the rope off its tail. It seemed like you had a lot of
grab that motherfucker.
Yeah, the strategy was
like I knew the moment that it was the bull. We're like, all right, hold on. Kyle Chambers ran tracks. We're like, all right, that guy's gonna grab the tail and run. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm the biggest guy. I have to grab the damn thing. Who's gonna grab it? Who else is gonna grab it besides me? So I had to do it. I had to grab the damn bull, and the bull won.
You went out there like a champ though. You were the first bull riding, or what was it, the steer wrestling competitor.
Yeah.
You went first for that too, so that's huge. That's a lot of bravery that I ain't got.
So I actually fucked myself on that. I didn't expect that thing to come out bolting. I thought that I had to actually like wrestle the fucking thing. It wasn't going to run. It was going to like stay in a circle and I had to put it down. So because I was the first one, I didn't know what the fuck to expect. Like this thing, like, is it going to stay? Is it going to run? And then when that thing bolted on me, I was like, oh shit, I'm just trying not to get a horn through my eye,
Is that a good practice on stalling opponents, guys who are trying to flee the area, just locking them in?
Man, at least those guys don't have horns on top of their head, right?
Not yet.
Take one through here. That's it.
So first, the challenge is over, right? You end up having a match with Andrew Tackett. Reading like all the before the episode, reading kind of all the commentary. Nobody counted you out in this, right? Everybody said. Big Dan is 270 pounds. Big Dan's massive.
I didn't win.
Right.
So,
yeah. What were your takes on that match?
I mean, there's I dealt with a lot of adversity before that match. There were a lot of things going on wrong before that match that doesn't really need to be talked about because those are just excuses, and excuses mean nothing. But after that match, I had a real good hard think. I had a thought with myself. I fixed some issues that I had. And then I went on to go take second place at West Coast Trials, losing by the dumbest fucking shit ever by penalty against Cal. Bam, God bless him. And then I went on to the European Trials and I won with 3 out of 4 submissions. So this was filmed about 5 months ago. And I feel like in that time I went so far. And if anything, it was one of the things which helped catapult me to getting better.
That's really interesting. I want to hear more about
going that into what's up.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that because like you said, you came into this challenge. It was a kind of a rare thing, right? You're one of 16 people to have been able to do this, and then you went on to take second at the biggest ADCC trials ever, and then you went out to Poland and looked dominant. How did this experience kind of like propel you to where you are now?
I mean, if anything, it was like the worst 6 months of my life because I ended up, getting extremely sick and being hospitalized and losing 30 pounds. And then I ended up having a major knee surgery that was supposed to take me out for 6-7 months. I had a meniscus repair done. Going into West Coast Trials, I only had a month of training. Jesus. And then going into European Trials, I had 2 months of training. And then I won. And it was genuinely the best day of my life because after everything that happened, after taking this loss, after breaking my leg, after being hospitalized with COVID, I went on and I got second place at West Coast Trials. And then at the European Trials, I made my big shot at the big show. So if anything, losing on the show was the best thing that ever happened to me because it made it better than I ever was.
I got cold chills right there. That was nice.
That's a victory story if I've ever heard one.
It's the truth. Oh. I still have the things on my knee from the knee surgery. I only had a month of training. I couldn't walk for 3 months. I was stuck to a chair.
Well,
I couldn't bend my leg more than this.
maybe this is a
When
tendency
they,
coming from the Donahair Death Squad, but you seem very you were a little bit focusing on the single loss at West Coast Trials, off of a stupid decision. But let's be very real. That was an impressive run. That was not something to doubt yourself on. And obviously, between West Coast Trials and European Trials, you're looking like you are one of the top guys in the sport, bar none, at your weight class. What do you think that means moving forward for you after ADCC? What are some matchups that maybe you're excited about? I want to see how you match up against some of these bigger guys in the sport that have maybe a more established records. Because like you going out against Kyle Bame, you didn't come out with the win on that one, but you looked world class, just like you had throughout the rest of the tournament. So I'm curious about that. Is there any matchups that excite you?
the thing about the match versus Kyle Bame was that I beat myself in that match. In that match, I was the one which decided to be a dickhead in the end of the match. I don't know what I was thinking. People asked me what I was thinking. It was a complete lapse of judgment. I beat myself that day. And I know that if I didn't do that, I would have won. I was more active. I initiated all the attacks. And I don't think anybody disagrees with me.
Coming out of that, knowing that Kyle didn't offensively beat you, right? He beat you based on your mistake. Did that inspire you? Did that make you feel like, okay, I'm right here, I belong up here? European Trials is going to be a breeze because I know that I'm at this level.
I mean, the thing is, you can't go out thinking that, just because I did this, European Trials was going to be a cakewalk. You have to realize in the finals at European Trials, I had a Chechnyan wrestler who's never been taken down in a competition. God bless him. Muslim Patsarigov, a great friend of mine. I wasn't able to pull guard there. I had to wrestle. And thankfully, I was able to get the takedown and submit him. It didn't go to a decision. I got the submission. And I made my way to the big show, which was always a dream of mine, something which I wanted for so long. And I'm so thankful that I found myself there. And I was able to bounce back from the mistakes that I made on Who's Next, the mistakes that I made at West Coast Trials, and to have a close to flawless performance at European Trials. What else can I ask for? I'm going ADCC, right?
Yeah,
that's the best blessing you can ever have. And it wouldn't be possible without all the people who are around me. It's not just me. My teacher, John, he's been taking such good care of me since I was 17 years old. Gordon's the best teammate that anybody can ever ask for. Mo Jassim, when we moved to Puerto Rico, I was broke. I was 19. I had nothing. Who do you think paid my rent in Puerto Rico? It would be impossible without him. I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't have anything without these people. People try to say it's all me. No, it's the people around me, and I owe it all to them. And the people before me who paved the way in competitions, who have won, who have developed jiu-jitsu, we owe it all to them.
Obviously, a huge support system for you at New Wave, and it's not just you who's kind of benefiting and growing at New Wave, but 7 of you all have been invited or qualified for ADCC. What does that say about the quality of that room? And I want to ask you specifically about Luke, because Luke won just a couple minutes before you did.
Yeah, I hate that guy. Okay, no, I mean, Luke actually just came out of nowhere, man. He came from South Africa, and John goes up to me. He's like, Dan, go roll with that guy. One of my friends messaged me. He's from South Africa. He's supposed to be extremely talented. Go roll around with him. I'm like, okay. So I rolled around with him. I'm like, wow, this guy's great. He's 6'5", 200 pounds, one of those bony body types, which, are so difficult to deal with. Mm-hmm. Like, John, this guy's great. He got invited to the pro session. And ever since then, this dude just skyrocketed. A little bit of knowledge, a little bit of wisdom, some guidance by Gordon, Gary, and John. And being part of the team took him so far. And I'm so happy that he's a part of the team. And not only that, we also have Marigali, Giancarlo, all the other guys who train with us. And he's there. He's with us. He's part of the team. And he's definitely going to make a splash at ADCC. He doesn't do anything stupid. Like, he doesn't drink. He doesn't party. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't go out. He doesn't even have a girlfriend. He has no vices. He genuinely has no vices. And he trains 3 times a day, 5 days a week, and then on the weekends, twice a day. not including weightlifting. I've never seen him miss a class. Every single time I was at class, he was there. He's a hard worker. He's humble. He has no vices, and he has everything he needs to succeed. So I'm so happy he's part of the team, and he's going to be great. He's great now. He's going to be great in the future, and hopefully we get to do it together. The best thing in the world was me winning trials alongside him, because only we know how hard we worked for it. I know how it was like sitting watching everybody train and compete for 2.5 months because my leg was broken. You know, only we know how hard, and our instructor, only they know. So seeing our hard work come to life was the best experience of my life.
Man, I gotta say that I've heard some comments about some of your Who's Next interviews being a little bit more reserved, but man, are you a hype man on the mic? That was quite the. I need you as my friend just to come and like compliment me, you know, just like you did with Luke Griffith there. Just seem to have nothing but good things to say.
I'm sorry, it cut out. What did you say?
I say it doesn't seem like you have anything but positive things to say about your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Who's Next did a very good job of representing who I am as a person. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not evil. I don't have like bodies under my bed. I, like I'm not a bad dude. I don't think they did a good job representing who I am. And I guess because I'm big and I guess I look scary, it was easy to do that. But nonetheless, I lost my train of thought. But
no bodies
yes, I
under
love
the
my
bed.
team.
Confirmed. No bodies
Yeah.
under the bed.
Dan, I want to get to
Yeah.
some chat comments for you, but questions for you. But before I do, I want to ask you real quick. We were talking about this on your way in, but Gordon versus Penna, round 3, in August 7th. You've been training with Gordon for a long time. What do you take of that match? What are your kind of perceptions of that match?
Man, Gordon beats me like a little fucking boy. This guy is so fucking good at jujitsu. And anybody who's trained with him, anybody who's competed against him, or anybody who knows anything about jujitsu knows they got their fucking hands full. Like, this guy is so good. He genuinely has no weaknesses. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to out wrestle him? Gordon's a great fucking scrimmage wrestler. Good luck, scoring on him. What are you going to do? Submit Gordon? What are you going to do? Take him down? Like, do you think you're going to pass his guard without getting swept or leg locked? Like, what's your path to victory? And it's not to knock on anybody who he's competing against, because I have respect for everybody. But I'm just talking about Gordon's skill right here. Holy shit, this guy is good at jujitsu. Physically and mentally. He's physically, he's great. He's strong as an ox. He's flexible. He moves well. He can fully invert. Mentally, he knows jiu-jitsu better than anybody else in the world. So what are you going to do? And I think that it's good for Gordon to get the match that he wanted, the third match against Penna, and finally beat him.
If Penna can't do it, is there anyone that you think could? Do we have to wait for the entire new generation? Do we have to wait till Kolobate's 270 pounds and wait for that? Who takes him out first?
So the never-ending story of jiu-jitsu, and this is something which you can't ever change, is that the generation underneath always overtakes the current generation, and that's gonna happen to Gordon. That's gonna happen to me. That's gonna happen to some 5-year-old right now who hasn't even started training jiu-jitsu. It's gonna happen. That being said, and also the sport in terms of technicality is always going up. So the techniques we know today are gonna be nothing in comparison to what we know in 20 years. Think about it. Where was jiu-jitsu in the early 2000s? You put a blue belt from nowadays against some of these guys from the early 2000s, it would destroy them. And I think that Gordon has single-handedly set such a high standard that it's going to be hard to beat for a very, very long time. And I feel like he's elevated the sport more than anybody else. And you can say what you want about Gordon. You can say he's a dick. You can say that you don't like the way he talks. Maybe you don't like his face. But you can't say the fucker's not good at jiu-jitsu. And you can't say he's not the best. Say anything, but you can't say that.
Yeah.
Dan, before we let you go, let's get to a couple chat comments in here. I'm really curious to see how the chat has responded to episode 3 and to you. And go ahead.
Well, first off, they said, Dan, you're very philosophical. That was, and I think that seems to be a little bit of a
philosophical. I'm the
yeah.
furthest thing from philosophical, but okay.
I've kind of noticed it though. Everyone that trains under Donahair seems to kind of develop that very measured approach to discussing jiu-jitsu. So, obviously coming from that lineage. But Jose Becerra, he's a good friend of the show. Shout out Becerra. He was curious what you thought of the level of competition on the Who's Next show. Day one, you show up, you look around, see the guys around you. What's going through your head?
I mean, I don't know what there is to think. I was there to win. I was there to beat everybody. I thought everyone was great. I thought everyone was tough, and I thought everyone was going to bring it.
Were there any day one matchups that surprised you how they went? For example, I know Andy Varela would have been a big favorite. Obviously, had a tough first round matchup versus Jansen Gomez, but were there any that stood out to you?
So let me rephrase this question. Are you asking me, were there any matches on the first day that didn't go the way I thought they would?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just think for a second. Well, I'll tell you this much. I didn't expect Adam Bradley to go 3 hours with Tristan. I don't think anybody expected a match that long, because man, I would have the 3-hour match.
I don't think anyone wanted that.
After seeing that match.
What's funny was that match was immediately before my match against my friend Brayler. And he actually, we made a deal. I'm like, Brayler, I'm not doing a long fucking match, buddy. I'm not fucking doing it. We are not doing a long match. I'm like, if this match goes more than half an hour, let's start in 50-50 and let's have a heel hook shootout. And whoever fucking loses. Okay, he's like, all right, cool. And we shook hands on it. So, because first off, we weren't going to do that, and we weren't going to do that to everybody else, because we were in there for 3 hours, and man, that FloGrappling fridge got raided. Any other match I didn't expect? I mean, nobody really expected Andy to get a shotgun armbar, but I think he actually hurt his arm at trials. He broke it a couple of days before, because it was right after East Coast trials. So I think it actually has something to do with injury, but nonetheless, I didn't expect that to happen. But other than that, no, everyone showcased their jiu-jitsu great.
Hell yeah. Did you have follow-up question on that one? I know you had
no, Dan called it out. I was going to ask, after seeing the 3-hour match, did you have any realization that oh man, this can happen? But you had already planned ahead.
Yeah. No, fuck that. That ain't happening at all.
That match was great, because there was so much sweat on the mats. Tristan had Tristan and Adam had puddles of disgusting white sweat on the mats. And then they would stop the match every 40 minutes, wipe down the mats, wipe them down in the hopes of getting a submission, get them water, and then they would go back at it. And this went on for 3 hours. And we were all here, people were just shouting crazy stuff from the sidelines. And oh man, it was that match. Whew.
I did want to follow that up. We had someone in the comments, first off, asking what your relationship, what's your history with Isaac. I know obviously you guys both trained under Donahair, but I also wanted to discuss some things that I think you've been getting some flack for, maybe online. The decision
the Adam Bradley match. Yeah, everyone knew what I was doing with that match. Adam talked so much to Gordon, so what was I? You wouldn't do the same thing.
Was that Adam Bradley screw you kind of moment? Was that over the?
I can't hear you.
Was that over the Gordon social media thing, or was that to get Isaac out of the way?
I mean, it was just because I couldn't be the one to take out Adam, unfortunately.
So you wanted the Adam match for yourself, really?
Yeah, I mean, look, you talk so much to Gordon. I mean, you got Gordon from Wish.com. What's up,
man?
I don't like talking about it. I wish him the best. He was a gentleman. He gave me his bed. So what can I really say bad about the guy that fucking gave me his queen size bed instead of putting me in a twin size mattress? So I felt bad after doing that to him. But hopefully, that's fair, I guess. Hopefully me and Adam could shake hands, have a conversation, and move on from that.
Dan, ADCC just a couple months away at this point, man. I'm sure we'll be catching up with you here in training soon. I'm sure the whole New Wave squad is going to be tuning up relatively quickly. So looking forward to catching you then. But before we let you go, just want to, without dropping any spoilers, maybe shout out your favorite moment from being on Who's Next episodes 1 through 3. keep it there.
My favorite moment so far from 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yep.
We had the arm wrestling. We had the bull. We had that. Oh man, can you give me like a minute to think?
Yeah,
What was my favorite moment?
What was your favorite moment so far, Corey? While he's thinking.
I mean, I wasn't involved, so having all those athletes out there in the bull arena was definitely, from the outside looking in, yeah,
Horrifying.
fan experience.
All right.
But
My favorite moment was Tackett flipping the bull.
Ooh.
That was my favorite moment
Because
that was that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
it was pretty wild. Speaking of Andrew Tackett, we're gonna be chatting with him next. Dan, we're gonna let you go. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Cool.
Really happy to have you on.
Bye bye.
Thanks, boss. That was a good interview.
Yeah.
Man, look at that. Look what happens when the back table guy comes up to the front. We get Corey out here manning the show. Sears, Reed, get out of here. We don't need you guys.
We're gonna be joined by Andrew Tackett next, who of course the star of the show in episode 3, right? He wrestled the bull. He was able to take out Big Dan in the main event there.
Which, if you say you thought that was gonna happen, you're a liar. That's all that is, Chad. Don't you come over here saying that, oh, I thought that. No. We saw you guys on Instagram. No one expected this to happen. So this may be one of the biggest upsets of the year. Didn't even happen this year, but,
Before we do that, we got a little bit of Andrew's backstory during the episode. Let's play that clip, and we'll bring him on.
Perfect.
We're gonna move the couch.
Yeah. Here you go.
Take him down.
Yeah.
You literally think you could take down?
I do think
Andrew Tackett he's very fun. He's an aggressive grappler. He works hard for everything he achieves. He trains every day. I've just been doing jiu-jitsu ever since I can remember, and I've just been competing. This is gonna be my future, and I'm here to stay. It's honestly really cool because not a lot of kids get to travel at my age, so just have an opportunity to compete in another state and be able to travel there to fight is honestly really cool.
Tackett wasted no time here. Fast back take, look at that. Beautiful. There's an armbar attack there on the bell from Tackett. Well, phenomenal match there. Very tough to call. Technical encounter. I don't want to be
your winner for the second time in a row, Andrew Tackett.
Jiu-jitsu requires you to be extremely dedicated to be the best. It taught me how to fight for what I want, to work for what I want, that nothing comes easy, that you have to train, you have to drill, you have to watch tape to get what you want. So altogether, jiu-jitsu taught me to be very professional in what I do, to work for what I do.
oh, big double leg.
Those Tackett brothers just don't get tired, though. It's crazy. It's like either one of them, they keep pushing that pace, and they just wear people out, and then you never even see them breathing heavy.
This family, man, they just love to compete. Is it? The three brothers, that's what they live for, right?
I think he might have. I did it, man.
Double goal.
Double goal, baby.
Tell me about it.
Mind over matter. That's what's up. This is the first Worlds I've done. I put it all on the line. I trained for this. I just want to thank God and my family I want to thank my brother, Cody, people that push me.
All right.
Man.
Andrew Tackett joining us here shortly. Just a couple technical difficulties, but
Yeah.
in the meantime, let's talk about just how good that grappling family is, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's hopefully only the three brothers, but they may be hiding more and just releasing them out into the wild as they come of age for their post-warrior training, ready to take over the world. The Tacketts are here; they've been here. Obviously, William Tackett gonna be representing ADCC, and there's also Caleb Tackett down there at the right now. I don't think he's been doing too much heavy competition on the big circuit like his older brothers have, but also he's super young. He's like, what, 14 or something crazy like that? And I've rolled with him. He is a monster just like the rest of them. So we're going to have Tacketts in the headlines for years to come.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And you can see which one is the middle child just based on
Personality?
and the beginning of episode 2, right, when they all get into the house, like, who's the first one off the bus?
yeah. Shoving his way past everyone. Yeah. And he's, that's that tenacity that honestly, I think the fans have also taken notice to. Obviously, like, he can play that young, brash kind of guy, but it's the same kind of personality that makes him go, Big Dan, I want that matchup. And while I'm doing that matchup, not only am I going to, try and take it to you and be the aggressor and out-physical someone that much bigger, but also I'm going to try and stunt on you a little bit. I'm going to talk shit the whole time. And fuck, I mean, how do you not love that?
Have you ever rolled with Andrew Tackett?
Yeah, he flying triangled me. Like, I got like 2 good minutes of like maybe feeling like I could move with him, and then he just started stunting on me for the next 4. So it was a little bit disrespectful. But we forgive you, Andrew. He comes out to 10th Planet sometime. So
yeah, I also had the we can call it, I guess, the pleasure of rolling with him, but
the pleasure, yeah. He has that young guy thing, like, where as he realizes he's just that much better than you, it's hard for him not to, flex just a little bit, and I can't blame him.
My Andrew Tackett story, real quick, and I think he'll be able to jump in on this. It was a couple months ago, right? I was doing some deep dives on Ty and Cade Rotolo and trying to work on that leg pin passing system and like just kind of trying to figure it out. Tackett nice enough to let me try and leg pin pass him, and I'm kind of stepping on the legs. He looks straight up at me, looks me in the eyes, and just starts hysterical laughing. Not only are you doing this wrong, but I can tell you exactly why and how you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, and I'm not. Instead, I'm going to laugh at you from bottom.
He was kind enough to show me some tricks afterwards. We got to see a little bit more of them during Who's Next. I was happy to see him work that system in Who's Next, because that way I felt like, all right, at least it's a pro. This is a pro here.
He takes out Big Dan, and you're like, I didn't do too bad. I did okay. Andrew, is that you? I don't know if the show people can hear you, but I think I can in my mic.
You flip it around? Yeah, let me flip it around.
We got the family Tackett here on the back end.
Yeah, I know. If you guys are hearing audio, which let us know in the chat if you are, I think we're getting behind the scenes at the Tackett household as maybe William is helping him set up the camera. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just obviously the bull. Also, there we go. It looks horrible, man. I'm sorry. I don't.
There he is.
We can see you. We can see you. There he is. Andrew Tackett, everybody. He's coming on the screen here in a little bit.
1 second. I'm using a computer, but the rear camera won't work, and I have no idea why.
You're looking good, man. Don't worry about it. You're good. Have you seen? I guess you've seen episode 3 as soon as it came out, right, Andrew? What are your thoughts on the release?
Here, we're gonna try to get the back camera working. Just fine. It's working now. It's working now. It's fine. Okay.
What's up, William?
I just got. Am I a little too high? Do I need to slant down a little bit?
Yeah.
You're good
Slump
right
a little,
there.
right there.
Right here.
You're good right there.
All right.
All right, the star of episode 3. This is the star of episode 3, man. You have a chance to watch your episode yet?
I actually have. Yeah, I've watched all of them, and they're all super good. But episode 3 is just it's so freaking good. Like, dang! Like when I watched that episode, I was just like the whole time, like kind of shaking and nervous just because it was bringing back so much memories. And it's better than I ever could imagine. Like, wow, you guys did such a good job.
How did reliving that bullfighting experience? How did that go down?
My ribs started hurting all over again. Like when I threw the bull, I remember just like my ribs were just like, as it like rolled over me. And so when I was watching that, I was like, oh dang, my ribs are starting to hurt again. I wasn't having flashbacks, but my body was. So yeah, it was just amazing being able to relive it and actually being able to watch it. And I mean, I was telling my family like right after the show, I was like, I threw a bull. Like I threw a bull, and they're like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, no, I literally threw a bull, and they're like, no, you didn't, Andrew. And then when they watched it, they're like, you threw that bull. And I was like, I told you.
I definitely threw that bull. Yeah,
Oh,
that was so fun to watch. And let's not forget that not only did you throw the bull, but you had the wherewithal to throw the hook in extra to make sure they secured the back.
I know. I didn't want I didn't want it to get away and then like get up and like be mad at me because I just threw it and start like, freaking trampling me. So I was like, I just gotta hold it.
Yeah.
Before we got you in here, we were talking about just kind of the jiu-jitsu family that is the Tacketts. What's their perception? Like you and your team and your family, what's everybody's perception been like of the show and of your part on the show?
I mean, they've all just kind of been like, wow, Andrew, you're that's exactly how you are on a daily basis. So nothing really surprised them. They were kind of like, I was expecting you to be a little more crazy, and I was like, yeah, I kind of had to like chill it down a bit. Like you guys are like, chill it down. Like I'm pretty crazy. But yeah, they were super happy to see that I was having a good time, that I didn't make a complete fool of myself. So it was mostly my mom. She was like, Andrew, you embarrassed me on this show. Like, I'm gonna get mad at you. So she's happy that I didn't embarrass her too much.
We got some insight into a couple of Andrew Tackett rivalries, but I think my favorite is Andrew Tackett and Mike Rakshan.
Oh man.
Man. Oh yeah.
Tell me about Mike Rakshan, man. How did this like rivalry come to be?
Basically, so you know, he was the oldest in the show and I was the youngest in the show. So we kind of already had conflict there just because we were like complete opposites.
Yeah, because you hate old people, right?
Yeah, no, I do not. I knew I had to target him because I could like relate to him the most. And like, if I was targeting someone like Kyle Chambers, I couldn't really mess with him because, you know, he'd probably just throw something back at me and I'd be like, oh shoot. But old man, since we were so opposite, I could tease him so easily. And so that's why I kind of targeted him. And also I kind of saw him a little uptight. So I wanted to like tease him and like mess with him to make him like loosen up a bit. Because I think it was the first day when we got there, he was like real quiet and like wasn't really like was like to himself. And I was like, that's a good target.
I was curious. I saw you were messing with him in his sleep. What was it you put? Did you drop something on him? It looked like you had a little drop or a pen or something.
I tried to draw a mustache on him, but he is a super light sleeper. So I went over to him. I had like a red marker and I was gonna draw a little mustache, but as soon as I touched him, he just wakes up and I'm like, oh shoot. I was like, I gotta get out of here. But he sleeps with like a face mask on and earmuffs on, so I don't know how he hurt me, but he did. So
that's a very dangerous. I wouldn't even do that like in high school at if I'm staying over my friend's house, I wouldn't cover my eyes and ears. That seems like really like first thing you do is to keep from getting pranked is take that shit off.
I was kind of sleeping with like the covers over my head. I was sleeping like aware the whole time because I knew something was going to happen to me because I was the one starting the drama, so everyone was like kind of targeting me. So I was trying to like stay awake the latest and then wake up the earliest so nobody caught me off guard.
I think what you mean by that is you were avoiding justice. You were avoiding justice for your wrongdoings. You were protecting yourself from rightful vengeance.
Exactly. I mean, I deserved it. I deserved to get payback, but I avoided it, so let's go.
We haven't gotten to see too much of like exactly what happened in that house yet, but like, what's the experience of living with 7 other grapplers who you really don't know? Like, they're not your teammates, right? They're not exactly your friends. Like, what are some of the things that the camera didn't catch of like what happened in that house?
I mean, to be honest, we all got along really well because we kind of all have the same goal in life, to train as hard as we can to get our name out there and to fight hard. So we all kind of had a similar perspective on life. So we all got along pretty well. But I'd say the one thing that the camera like didn't get was like, how could I put this? Like maybe the tension that we had between each other, but we like was keeping it down inside because we didn't want to just like let it out and freak out. Because we all were kind of getting on each other's nerves because, a bunch of testosterone in like one house is never a good idea. So we were all like boiling on the inside towards each other. And so we were keeping it contained. I think that's one thing the camera didn't get. I mean, living with brothers, I can tell you that like sometimes I'm just like, oh, I hate you, but sometimes I'm like, man, I love you. So like that was kind of like my feelings towards everybody else on that house. To be honest, I was kind of treating everybody on the house like my brother. Like, how would I treat my brother? How would I prank my brother? How would I mess with my brother? That's how I was kind of doing that.
Do you feel like you had an advantage living in that house, given that like you on a day-to-day basis live with professional athletes?
Oh yeah, 100% yes. It was kind of just like that's my everyday life right there. To be honest, what was the house like? That's kind of how it is with me all the time. So it wasn't really anything new. So that's why I was so comfortable in the house because I kind of lived that for 19 years. So it was kind of like more like, oh man, I could do this in my sleep. I could do this with my eyes closed. So it was fun. I mean, I had so much fun on the house, and I feel like I've really upgraded as a person since then. Like the house upgraded me. Like it taught me how to like get on people's nerves, how to smack talk more. So
that's the upgrade. That's the upgrade. Andrew
I'm just
Tackett
giving more of a nuisance to my brother. So,
man,
I want to kick it over to the chat. I'm sure they got a lot to ask, a lot to say or ask.
Yeah.
See what from Andrew.
First,
I'm putting the cowboy hat on.
There you go. Throw it on.
I'm a full-blooded cowboy now. You know what I'm saying, y'all.
Yeah, man, I love it. Josh Jitsu, friend of the show, in the comments, he said Andrew Tackett has to be the coolest guy in the sport after that episode. I know.
I don't agree with you, but I thank you, man. That's super cool of you to say that.
Yeah, we also had a question. It was said, I don't know if it was in a post-match interview or maybe said on social media after, I'm not entirely sure, but after your match with Big Dan, I believe it was after the episode, he said that your foot popped when he had it in that ankle lock and he was coming back on it. You want to tell us about that? So it looks on your face says you remember that feeling just as much as the ribs.
This was the foot he popped. Can you guys see it? Can you see my foot?
Yeah, we can see it. That is an extraordinary flexibility.
Hurts. I mean, when he basically went for the footlock, he had basically an outside Ashi, or was it single leg X? It was one of the two. But as he was bridging, I just remember hearing not the popping noise, but the crunching noise, and then loud pops after that. So what was going through my mind at that point, I was kind of just like, well, if I die, I die. If my foot breaks, it breaks. At least it will be on TV. And I was not tapping. I was just like, my foot's going to get annihilated. I won't tap. Yeah. So I'm just glad I managed to get out of the foot lock without my foot actually breaking. That was a miracle, because I was willing to let it break. And I could say that like the next couple of days on the show, I was limping hardcore, but I was trying to keep a straight face and not show weakness. So I was just like, you're not hurt, but really I was.
Yeah, we had a few more questions. How did competing on Who's Next influence your mindset going into West Coast trials?
It honestly was an experience of a lifetime in a bunch of manners of my life. I believe the biggest impact it had on me was my mindset. And I say it really switched my like basically perspective on how I go into the match. Like usually I go into the match and I'm just like, okay, go for the submission as fast as possible and just, submit your opponent as fast as possible. But one thing that the Who's Next show showed me was it's really hard to submit your opponent sometimes due to the 3-hour match, my 45-minute match. So going into the West Coast trials, it really showed me that position before submission was the biggest thing I learned. With my matches, I was always trying to get a good position before attacking a submission. Before the reality show, I would always like just jump on submissions before I had 100% control of my opponents, and that would allow them to like escape, to get out, and to basically that would be lost energy. So I think it really showed me to keep cool under pressure and to really obtain the position, secure it, and work towards the submission afterwards. I would say that's probably the biggest thing I took away from the show and the biggest key it helped me out with my game.
How much did of course, you had a crazy coaching team, right? Like the coaching squad that both teams had was great, but you guys had the benefit of having Coach Sewer Rat on your team. How much did you learn from that guy?
Sewer Rat is the best. I love Sewer Rat. At first, when he first got on the show, I was like, who is this guy? I was like, he's kind of weird. But then the next day I was like, I kind of like him though. And then the next day after that, I was like, oh, but he's gone. And then he pops back on and I'm like, yes, I'm so happy he's back. Sewer Rat coming back on the show, really, it kind of inspired me that it inspired me to be crazier on the show because, we were only there for like, I don't know, I think it was like 16 days or something like that. So it really showed me that you're only going to be here for so long. So you might as well go down swinging. You might as well go down, putting all that you have into it. And I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing. I believe he's the star of the show. He was by far the most rambunctious and just crazy guy. And, you got to love him for that. He was totally fearless of how he was portraying himself. And, props to him because he's just amazing. I mean, he's Sewer Rat. How can you not like a guy that goes by the name Sewer Rat? He can rap. He can drop Sayonagi people. He can wrestle. He can scrap. He's just the best.
He can scratch.
He can scratch. What was your reaction whenever he did? He tried the possum escape. What did you think when he started playing possum?
Well,
and have you considered putting it into your own game?
I know the rules are the only way you're getting out is by submission. And I believe pass out is that counts as a win as well. But technically he never passed out. He was just playing possum, which is his game. So I thought it was hilarious. I remember sitting on the sidelines on the bleachers and I'm like, oh shoot, he just went out. And then he pops it. He's like, no tap. I was playing possum. And oh my God, it was so funny. I think the only reason they let him kept going is just because how funny it was. It was hilarious. Even the ref was just like, what do I do? How do I, he's playing, he's kind of right. He's playing possum. It was hilarious. I remember looking to Renee and he was just dying and I was just dying. And everybody was just, that was really when we kind of learned to like him because we were just like, how do you think of this stuff? How do you think of letting yourself almost pass out to escape a submission and just yell, I was playing possum. It's literally genius. It's original. That's awesome.
I've been using that in roles ever since. Just I didn't
tap.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to watch a scene from episode 3 with you, and then I want to kind of ask you about it. If Nico, you want to roll the clip.
5 feet.
All right. So basically, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's go straight to it.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go, cowboy. There you go, just like that. Come up from that side. Let's go, Andrew. We'll come out here just a second. You say win.
Stop this!
I gotta put my cowboy hat on.
Born to ride with destiny. Born to be a cowboy.
For a 165-pound human to pull a 1-ton animal down to the ground is extremely difficult. So we started on the headlock, it jumped out of the gate, it was bucking and stuff. So I jumped in there off of its buck and I did a forward roll. I got its neck to come underneath it, and then it just forward rolled over the top of me. It rolled over my ribs and stuff and it landed on the ground. Then it started squirming, so I got my top hook in over its arm, and I was just holding on for dear life at that point. And everybody was just yelling, "Yo, you have it, you had it, let go." And I was like, shoot, I was like, I got it already?
Andrew Tackett, I don't want to say got lucky, but even the guys here were like, they've never seen anything like that before.
Never in a million years thought that he was going to do a front flip and take the bull down. 3 seconds. Insane. Insane.
Born to ride with destiny. Born to be a cowboy.
Man.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So I guess the real question is like, what?
Yeah.
You
Yeah. What? No question
Yeah,
mark. Just
no,
what?
that's what I was thinking too.
So how did that go down when they show that you're about to go out there and you see Big Dan right before you go out and fail to take on this bull? What are your thoughts going into that? You see it, you're about to climb over the fence. You tell him, "I don't need more advice. I'm going now."
Well, to be honest, I've kind of always been that person that's been fearless my whole life. I like stuff that is like near-death experiences that get my adrenaline pumping and that basically test me. I love stuff like that. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel alive. So I wasn't even really paying attention to Big Dan. I was like, oh, he didn't take the bull down, like whatever. Like the bull's freaking strong. I was like, but I'm not going to try and muscle the bull. I'm just going to try and just like survive, and whatever happens, happens. My game plan going in was I was going to try and like kick its feet out or do something like that. They told me if the bull starts bucking, just like hop with it like a bunny rabbit. So that's like what I did. As soon as they let the bull go, I was just like, yeehaw, yeehaw, there we going. And I'm like, wait, we're flipping. Oh my God. I'm like, wait, we're on the ground. What? It all happened like so fast that I don't even really remember like what happened. I just remember going out of the gate and hanging on for my life, and then my ribs hurting, and then me being kind of on the side of it holding it down. I don't know how it happened. Even the guys were like, we've really never seen anything like that. And I was like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that either. But now you guys have. So, you guys don't have to do it. I did it for you. You're welcome. Don't try this at home, kids. But
we were all just about to do that. We were all just about to run out and go find a bull. But after watching today, I appreciate you made that sacrifice.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind? All right, I tackled this bull. My team gets the pick. I want the biggest guy in the room. How did you figure that? How did you make that decision?
Well, like I said, Sewer Rat really inspired me to basically, we're only on the show for that long. You got to make the most of it. So I was like, if I go down by the bull dying, I go down by the bull dying. So that's why I just sent it. If I go down by the giant dying, I go down by the giant dying. So I just sent it. That was my thought process. I was like, okay, Andrew, you just took down this bull. You can take down this giant. So I told Coach Craig, I was just like, hey, give me Big Dan. Give me Big Dan. I was like, this is the match people want to see, the small guy versus the big guy. And I was like, and I think I can do it. I was like, I didn't know I could do it. I thought I could do it. So, I called him out. I got in front of him. And let me tell you, okay, I was honestly scared of Big Dan. Like, who's not? Like, the guy is 6'7", 275. Like, when we were, like, staring off, I started, like, inching closer. And I was like, this is a big guy. I was like, this guy's big. Like, honestly, I was looking up to him like this. I was like, okay, this is a little intimidating. He's a little bit bigger than a bull.
But now you're on camera, and you can't not do it now.
What's up? I didn't hear you.
I said, but at that point, you're already on camera. Now you're staring him down, and you just got to act like you're not afraid.
I did this for the fans. I did this for the people that are watching. Like I said, if I died on a reality TV show. So,
so it's documented.
I did this for you guys. I'm glad I didn't get seriously injured, and I'm glad it happened the way it happened. So, thank God.
So yesterday we put out a post before the show was released. Yesterday we posted the matchup, right? You versus Big Dan, and not just yesterday, but since last week when we announced that Big Dan was on the show, everyone was like, "Oh, Big Dan, you're like, nobody. How's anybody going to beat him? There should be weight classes in this thing, like, you know." And especially yesterday we announced you versus Big Dan, 100-pound weight difference. Tackett has no shot. I'm sorry, poor Tackett. Like, watching these comments flood in, like, how much of that, like, were you just excited for this to come out and like show everybody what's up?
Well, okay, when we first started the show, I was like, dang, that is a big boy. I was like, I do not want to fight him. But then, I built the courage and I was like, whatever, just fight him. For people saying that I wasn't going to win, that how I was going to get smashed and like give Andrew Tackett a coffin, like they were all, I don't think I had one person rooting for me. Maybe like my grandma, she was probably the only one rooting for me, but everybody else was like, okay, Andrew, you're just going to die. Especially since he just like submitted his first opponent in like, I think it was like 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So being able to beat him and now everybody being able to see that, it just was just like, yes, I was so excited. I was just like, just wait until the show comes out tomorrow. Just wait. I was like, you guys all will be proven wrong. I was like, Andrew Tackett is different. So I was so excited. Like I said, going into the match, I honestly didn't think I was going to win. I was like, dang, I don't see how you can win, but I was just like, whatever, you're just going to do it. Just try to get in his head, try to wear him down. And that's what happened. Yes, I'm so glad it happened that way too.
Well, I think we should make the distinction. I don't think it was that people weren't rooting for you. I think people weren't betting on you. Because I do want to ask about is, Big Dan in episodes 1 and 2 quickly became what a lot of fans deemed the villain of the show. So, not just is he the powerhouse that's towering over everyone. Now it felt like a little bit more of once you called him out, like poetic justice for what had happened to Adam. And I was curious what you thought of the Adam decision. We just had Big Dan on. He went straight up, said, yeah, he talks a lot of shit about Gordon. Gordon's my teammate. I couldn't take out Adam Bradley myself since he was on my team, so this is why I did it. But I was curious what you thought about it.
So when he initially beat us all in the arm wrestling challenge, which I was petrified. I was like, dang, we're going to have to arm wrestle this guy. I was like, well, we're all going to lose. Like, that was just, we all knew we were going to lose. And then after he won, he told Isaac against Adam, we were like, whoa, that's kind of messed up. Like, you're putting your injured teammate against one of our best teammates. I was like, you probably should have gave him an easier fight. And so everybody knew instantly, okay, he wants Adam Bradley out. He wants Adam Bradley to basically lose. So that from that point on, we were basically like, okay, now we got to take the giant out because then he might put somebody against another person, like a bad matchup. So I don't know why we put me against him. We probably should have put Isaac against him if we wanted him out. But I thought it was actually, to be honest, a smart decision for him. I mean, going into the show, we were a team, but we also weren't a team because you honestly could end up fighting your teammates. Mm-hmm. So it's all strategy. And I think his decision by putting Adam against Isaac was strategy. He could see how good Isaac was, what he was good at, and, he could get his teammate out. So I think it was a little bit of strategy, but also it was kind of a little selfish. So I don't know. I wouldn't have done it, but it was a good strategy decision in my opinion.
Yeah.
Andrew, we gotta let you go, but before we do, I want to ask you about the I think my favorite match of the year so far. Your match versus Damian Anderson at West Coast Trials.
Which no thanks to Andrew, he and Damian tried to take out the cameras. We lost that footage for a month or two because of his selfishness, but we got it back. We pieced it together from a lone camera, and you can watch the full match on FloGrappling.com.
Tell me
Let's go.
about that match and just like, I mean, I've watched that match at this point 10 times because it is just like, it's,
Yeah.
you of course have a history with Damien. You had a 50-minute match last year or a couple years back, right? How did that go down? Like, what was the experience living that match?
It was pretty crazy. Like you said, Damien and I have a history. I was able to beat him the first time. He beat me the second time. Going into the match, I was confident. I knew it was going to be a war, no matter what. I knew Damien was really working on his wrestling, so I was going into the match expecting to wrestle. I believe in the regulation time, I was able to take him down, almost take his back. And then in the overtime, he took me down out of bounds, and then I got back on top, took him down, held him, then we stood back up, and then I went for a shot. He circled around, went to my back, and then I grabbed his legs, took him. It was just all over the place. That was a really humbling experience for me, just because, going into a match and fighting that hard for something, I literally put everything I had into that match. And I know Damien did as well. I just remember after the match, I couldn't even really feel my feet. I was so tired. And it just humbled me because when you go through a war like that with somebody and you end up losing, it just makes you want to win so much more next time. Personally, I thought I won that match after watching a couple times, but it was such a close match. I believed it could have gone any ways, and I know the refs made the best decision they could have. But I just want to share with you guys, I was so tired, and I know Damien was so tired too, and we were trying our best to put a show on for you guys, and I'm just glad that we could have, and I'm glad it was like one of the best matches of that trials, because we both trained really hard for that tournament. And, we both didn't win, but I believe it was a win in itself to be able to get that fire of a match. And, I'm still kind of tired from it. Like, I was tired, like I think like 2 weeks after, like my body was just hurting for like 2 weeks straight. And I was like going back to train. I was just like, oh, I'm still hurting. And I would like text Damien. I was like, yo, you back to training yet? And he's like, no. He's like, I'm still dead. I'm like, like me too. After the match, I went up to him and I was like, all right, you're fighting Keith next. How do you feel? And he's like, oh man, I'm just so beat up. And I believe he went into the match against Keith just like trashed. So, props to him for doing good against Keith with already being so exhausted. I'd say the biggest thing that I took away from that match, though, was just being smarter with my movements, not expending energy in like worthless movements, like not over exalting myself and over pushing the pace, but doing just enough to basically get the position, to get the submission. And I've been learning that a lot lately, to not basically give up position by moving too much, or to give up a submission by moving too much, but to accept the position that I have and break it down and work from there to the submission. And I think that's where I went wrong in the match, because I was able to get his back a couple of times. I was able to get one hook in, but I couldn't get the second hook in because I was just rushing to try to get the points because I was so tired, rather than taking the time to really break down the position and, basically out technique him. But like I said, props to Damien. That match, it was just crazy. And every time I watch it, I get goosebumps just because I remember how, how tolling and how hard it was and how grindy it was. But, it was an experience in itself. And I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that again.
Yeah, that match is definitely a lesson in like just work rate. Both of you just have a nonstop work rate. You're always kind of driving and grinding, regardless of how tired you obviously were. But Andrew, man, thanks for joining us. We're gonna let you we're gonna let you leave. But if you have anything else you want to say to the fans, man, feel free.
Yeah, get the cowboy hat back on.
There we go.
All right, yeehaw, guys! I'm glad you guys are watching the reality show. Continue to watch. There's some exciting stuff coming up on it, and trust me, I'm just as crazy as I am. I believe I get more crazy throughout the reality show, so keep watching. Thank you for all your guys' support. I'm going to be training my butt off for the tournaments that I have coming up. I'm going to be dedicating my whole life to the tournaments I have coming up. So expect big things coming up, expect fireworks coming up, and, expect something extraordinary. Let's freaking go. I love you guys.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Hell yeah.
All right. That's it for the Who's Next wrap up. Who's Next episodes 1, 2, and 3 are out now. Episode 4 is coming out a week after next. So we're taking a week off for the IBJJF World Championships. Tune in for that too. The rosters are, I mean, every single black belt division is like, there are no sleepers. Any match could be insane. They're still kind of juggling some divisions, some people going up, some people coming down. But I think this is going to be one of the best worlds we've seen in a while.
Yeah. And if you want to keep up with that juggling of divisions, our guy Corey here is writing articles about that. He's been keeping everyone updated whenever someone big moves up or down, whether it's Mika, I believe he recently moved down.
Lightweight.
Yeah, we got a few of those kinds of changes that we are keeping track of, so you guys don't have to. Go to FloGrappling.com to follow along.
So next episode of Who's Next is June 6th, yeah?
Yeah, we have a graphic here. Bam, look at that.
There it is.
Wow, someone's an artist. Whoever made that really deserves.
June 8th, my bad.
Yeah.
Next episode is on June 8th. Who's Next finale coming up in July. Obviously, we mentioned at the top of the show, but Pedro Marino versus Gordon Ryan in the co-main event there. That's going to be, that's going to be a 15-minute match. 30-minute match between the light heavyweight champion and, of course, Gordon Ryan. And then August 7th, Gordon Ryan.
Ooh, it's the one.
Felipe Pena.
Yeah.
No time limit. Submission only on Who's Number One. Can't wait for that.
Jeez. Man, a year ago, you would have called us crazy if you said we were doing this 1 month before ADCC, but look at us now.
Thanks so much for joining us. Episode 4, teaser coming up. See you guys soon.
Next time on Who's Next.
He woke up screaming like a little girl.
I'm gonna kill all these guys.
Where are you guys taking us? They're taking us to a freaking grave.
Today, I didn't know what to expect.
10 freaking cannons.
This event is going to be a shooting event.
We're gonna win this. This is easy.
Tim, you still going, buddy?
Let's freaking go!
Just go out there, leave it all on the mat, get some rest, do these matches.